Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Mark and Macy show. And for the first week, we're starting our show on Blab. So we're going to give this a shot. It's a show or a platform that I've used for some of my other shows. So shameless plugs here real quick. College football coast to coast on Monday at 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock on Monday, behind the scenes live with Marty McPadden. Okay, I'll get that out of the way. But this is the Mark and Macy show. So we've done the Google Hangouts thing for several weeks, and now we're going to give Blab a shot because we both think it's pretty cool. Right, Macy? You looked in on some of these shows for the first time this afternoon.
Yeah, no, it's been really cool. Like, I came across a baseball convention, the Queen's Baseball Convention. So that's right up my alley with the Mets. They were talking about the Rangers. We had some guys talking about the Yankees. We had guys talking about the NFL, fantasy football. It's amazing. You can just search pretty much anything you want, and boom, there it is at your fingertips, and you can just join the conversation.
Yeah, it seems like some people around here doing sports now. I've got a friend who's a big tech guy, and he's the guy that got me into the production show. And I think it started as a big tech community, and now there's all sorts of different subjects on here. So we're going to join in the fun. Hopefully we can build a community. So definitely, if you're watching at some point, you might be able to take a seat. Just let us know. But in the meantime, make your comments known, ask questions, and so forth. I think we're going to talk about the two big football games coming up this weekend, but specifically in the AFC, because it's just classic with now what once was the Indianapolis Colts taking on the New England Patriots many times in the playoffs. Now it's the Broncos and the Patriots, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and this may be the last time that we see it, two of the greatest quarterbacks of all time going at it for a trip to the Super Bowl. So Macy, it's pretty special when you talk Manning and Brady, and again, this could be it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty sad to think that this could be it, because growing up, those are the two really elite quarterbacks that stand out to me, and those are the ones that I think about because that's what I knew about growing up. So to think that this could be the last run for the whole Manning-Brady matchup is actually a little upsetting, especially for a real football fan like myself. I hope it's a good one. I hope it goes out in style. I hope it's not a blowout by either quarterback. I hope it's that, down to the wire type of battle thing. I gotta say, though, I'm rooting for Manning. Not necessarily for Denver, but for Peyton.
Why are you cringing when you say that? Like it's a bad thing?
Because it's just hard to root for other teams. Like once your team's done, it's done. But I've always been a fan of Peyton, so, I still root for him.
I think that the way things kind of stack up for this one, I'm a little surprised that New England, somebody told me today, is about a 2.5 or 3-point favorite. A lot of that has to do with Denver's defense, and a lot of that has to do with the game being played in Denver, because I just think New England's playing much better right now, and Brady's playing significantly better than Manning. I'm glad to have seen Peyton play a decent game last weekend. I'm not going to say that he set the world on fire, but he played well. There were actually 4 or 5 key dropped passes in the first half that would have extended drives and would have been pretty big plays to help Denver score more points in the first half. But it was great to see Peyton extend his career, and he may come back and play next season, but extend the season and get to another championship game. I haven't even counted in my head how many this is between these two, but it's well into double digits. But again, Manning, considering where he was 4 to 6 weeks ago, having lost his job because of injury, really playing poorly right before the injury knocked him out, not playing really well right when he came back. He's playing better and better each week, and he actually said, I'm healthier today than I was this time last year. So that's a good sign. Again, I thought he played pretty well last week, but Brady's pretty much lights out at this point, which is incredible considering he's in his, 15th season.
Yeah, Brady just, like you said, never dies out. He never seems to just have a bad season. We thought this was going to be his worst season ever with starting out the Deflategate and, all of that mess and the attention that was brought to the Patriots and the negative energy that was set around them. And they took that and turned it into the season that they've made. And I give a lot of that credit to Tom Brady. And it's kind of frustrating because not that you ever want to see someone fail, but when someone's so good, you want to kind of see them go down and be like a normal person. And I don't think Tom Brady is like a normal human being. I think he is just a freak. I don't know what else to call him. He's incredible. Even though he went to Michigan. But he's a Big Ten product.
Michigan, that doesn't sit too well with either one of us for different reasons. So pretty much the same reason, but different angles. So he's not exactly, when you show your admiration for Tom Brady, it doesn't quite have that feel as when you're talking about Tim Tebow. So it seems like that admiration's coming from maybe a different place.
Absolutely. I mean, Tim Tebow and Tom Brady pretty much live opposite life. Tom Brady is elite quarterback, the number one quarterback, married to a supermodel, has children, does advertisements, does everything else. And Tim Tebow is good looking and has a career in sports broadcasting. I don't know. That's all I can give him.
You include good looking in the Tom Brady rundown? No?
No.
Because a lot of women think he's great looking.
No, yeah, not me. No.
But I always found this interesting, Macy, because I've seen like little studies, those shows where they have a little setup where they see how people respond or what people will say when they don't know what's going on, kind of thing. And I saw this once with women on like a New York City street corner, and they showed these women pictures of men, and they gave them They first showed the pictures of the men and didn't say anything about them and asked how good looking they were on a scale of 1 to 10. And then they put job titles underneath each one. And then that changed the equation. When the women perceived that some guys might be making a little bit more money, that changed the outlook. And then when they actually put the salary figures, and it was all made up, when they put the salary figures under the guys' pictures, then that completely skewed it, and it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's amazing, but I mean, I would take Tim Tebow for Tim Tebow, not Tom Brady for being Tom Brady. So,
okay.
The only thing Tom Brady and I have in common is we both don't drink coffee. That's about it. That's the only thing Tom Brady and I have in common.
And you and Tim Tebow have so much in common.
So much.
Okay.
He's lived in the Philadelphia area. I lived in the Philadelphia area.
All right.
There's a whole list. There's a list.
It's a lengthy list, I'm sure.
Yes.
So regardless of what happens in this game, the comparison is always going to be made between Peyton Manning and Eli Manning. And if those two Super Bowls were never played that Eli Manning played in, there would be no comparison. It would be open and shut case and nobody would talk about it. But because the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl and the Giants went on these two incredible runs and Eli Manning played so well down the stretch and did what he did in the Super Bowl, then it becomes an interesting comparison. It's the great regular season career all-time passing leader and all the records that Peyton Manning's going to retire with versus the guy that came through in the clutch a few times but had otherwise kind of a mediocre career. So which career would you rather have?
I'd probably say Peyton.
Okay. I still would too.
Yeah.
But if you took that one Super Bowl championship away from Peyton, then I think that would tip the scales.
Yeah.
For me.
There's just something about Peyton. I think there is more of a personality factor. He would be on those lists of someone you'd want to hang out with. I think Peyton would be that guy. Eli, I don't think many people would want to be I'd love to have Eli come and hang out in my man cave. I don't think he has that. I mean, look at the commercials that Eli's done compared to the commercials that Peyton has done, or even just advertisements or anything. And I think Peyton's just got a little bit more of a personality and a little bit more spunk to him than Eli does. And I think that gives him the deciding factor. They're both great quarterbacks. They're both, they obviously come from the same family. They come from a great family. I just think Peyton's got a little bit of a better, I don't know. He's just got a little something more going for him than Eli.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I completely left the commercial factor out of my comparison when I set you up there. Completely. I don't know how I missed it on the commercial comparison. I actually was talking football, but
No, I mean, it's so hard to compare.
That's part of it. That can be part of it.
No, but it really is so hard because, like, yes, Eli won 2 Super Bowls, but I think Peyton's the better quarterback and Peyton's had a better career. So how do you weigh out the difference between a good career versus Super Bowls, which both came off of these crazy catches? You know, it's not like Eli – I can't say that Eli didn't shine in the Super Bowls because he did. But he didn't shine in the sense of he's a great quarterback that he plays like that all the time. He kind of got lucky. So...
Well, you just said, how do you compare? But that's what makes the comparison great. Otherwise, we're not having that debate. But what makes it is because it's kind of within football, apples and oranges. It's the great career, but with some letdowns in the postseason, quite a few letdowns in the postseason, versus like 9 letdowns, versus the guy who better than average quarterback over the course of his career, but I remind people all the time, Tom Brady has led game-winning drives in the Super Bowl, game-winning field goal drives. It's one thing to get your team at the 30-yard line and then all of a sudden, okay, Vinatieri, win the game, versus we have to score a touchdown or we're not winning the Super Bowl. And that's never happened twice by a quarterback, and Eli's pulled that off. So it's a great comparison because it's like, I don't know if I'm taking you way too far back here, but maybe you've heard the name Robert Horry. Are you with me? NBA.
No, I'm not.
Oh. Okay. After we get off here, you should look up Robert Horry. You really should. That's Horry.
Okay.
So here's the deal with Robert Horry. Robert Horry averaged like 6 points. We looked it up one time. We were having some kind of debate at work. He averaged like 6 points a game during his NBA career. Okay. He has 6 NBA championships, at least, maybe 7. Lakers, Rockets, Lakers, Spurs. He also, not just that he was like sitting at the end of the bench during these championships, this guy hit more clutch 3-pointers in huge games to win playoff games, championship games than anybody you can imagine outside of Michael Jordan. It's amazing. Like if you look him up and look at all these, his nickname became Big Shot Rob. But he scored like 6 points a game for his career. So would you like to have that career where you're just known as clutch, but otherwise not much? And then, or you could be, great NBA player who never won a championship like Dominique Wilkins. I can't think of anybody like Carmelo Anthony. You're Melo or you're this guy. It's a good debate.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of great sports debates, and that's what makes sports. You could be one of the best athletes in high school and college your rookie season and then maybe not amount to anything or amount to what you were supposed to be. Or you could be a guy who comes from, a small school, really works hard, and becomes some kind of superstar. Look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady wasn't drafted until, I don't even know what round of the draft, but I know it was later. Round. So, and now Tom Brady has the number 1 selling jersey. For 2015, Tom Brady's jersey was number 1.
Did it finally surpass Tebow's?
Yes. And Manning was 12. So look at the difference, just between that.
Yeah, Brady's still on top of his game, and I think Manning's very popular. It's just that the perception is he's kind of done. And we'll see this Sunday. Maybe he gets his team to the Super Bowl. That would be awesome. I would love it. What an ending to a career, especially with all the crap he had to endure recently. And rarely do I stick up for the guy or feel sorry for the guy that's got like $100 million in the bank. But I think Peyton Manning has taken a lot of cheap shots from people just in regards to he can't throw anymore. And it is a little painful to watch at times. He has lost a ton of arm strength. But and he's deflected a lot of the, like when he came back a couple of weeks ago and suddenly they benched Osweiler, put Manning in, and they came back and won the game. And the defense played really well. The running game kicked it into gear. He made a couple of key throws, but he very much deflected the credit. He was like, Brock played well. He had some deflected passes. He had a lot of bad luck. It's not his fault that the running backs ran for me and they fumbled for him, and the defense played great for me. So, again, Peyton Manning's a first-class act, and he just always – I did that a few weeks ago when we were talking. He is a class act. He's first class, and he's a class act. We'll go with that. But, yeah, Peyton Manning, I always I'm going to hate to see him go, and hopefully this is not his last season. Unless he wins the Super Bowl, then it would probably be a good decision by him to ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, no one ever wants to see one of their favorite athletes in their career. But like you said, if it does go out in a Super Bowl, you do want to go out on top. So I'm right there with you on that one.
Yeah, so we've got a few people on board with us. If you'd like to ask a question about this week's football or anything, if you want to ask about Macy's favorite football player who's retired after like 2.5 seasons, you can ask about that if we haven't made it abundantly clear by now. One Payne says hello, so we will say hi to One Payne.
Hey.
And Macy will probably over the next several weeks and months drag us into a lot of NBA discussions too.
I did on Blab today get into an NBA discussion. They asked, were the New York Knicks a playoff team? And my response was, I would say they're not, because they took the Sixers to double overtime.
Okay. I don't know what the Knicks record is. I can't join this discussion. Oh, this is great. This is much better than talking about the NBA, unless you want to make a final point, Macy, about defending the New York Knicks.
No, just the Sixers are horrible.
Your Ali picture.
Yes. I do not practice boxing, no. Muhammad Ali is just one of my favorite athletes, and this is a very meaningful picture to me. It's the knockout, so it's always just like a strong message, and it's the centerpiece to basically my life, my motivation.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah. Learn something new every day.
Not necessarily Ali, is it? It's kind of the moment, or
yeah, well, he's like one of my favorites, but I think just the whole picture and all the messages that the one picture sends, all because one person just, took this photograph right in the moment. I think there's just a lot of feel to it, and it's kind of like that. You wake up in the morning and you're just like, you feel powered.
Okay. Yeah, I got nothing like that. Sorry. I have to inspire myself by looking. Yeah, that doesn't do it. Looking in the mirror first thing in the morning typically doesn't do it for me. So that's Macy Golder. You see her Twitter handle right there. So join her on Twitter. And I believe, well, she has to be, as of today, a Blab member.
Yes.
And I am as well. Hopefully you're following me.
I think I am.
I would hope so. I haven't had a chance to follow you. Of course I will.
You better.
We've got a YouTube channel that we're in the midst of forming. So the rest of our videos are on YouTube. Just look up Mark and Macy, and you can find us there. We've been going for about 8 weeks, so we like to kick around a lot of sports topics, and we've got Stephen on board. So if you get a question or comment, definitely let us know. So do you have any interest in the other game, the Cardinals? I was going to say the Eagles. Who are they playing? The Panthers. Yeah, that 15-1 team. You talk so much about the Eagles. I think I've got them on the brain.
I know. You know what? I have nothing to say about the Eagles this week. But the Cardinals-Panthers, what do I have to say about that one? I think the Packers-Cardinals game last week, or this past weekend, was one of the best games I've ever seen, hands down. It was just very exciting, and I think Larry Fitzgerald really deserves a ring. So, not that I'm rooting for the Cardinals, because I'm not, but I wouldn't be upset if he won. I'm not really rooting for the Panthers. That's really all I have to say about that game. There's nothing to jump on for that one for me, at least. How about you?
Yeah, as soon as you mentioned Fitzgerald, the first thing I think of is him scoring a touchdown in the Super Bowl against the Steelers that would have won the game. There's about $1.30 left, and then
Yeah.
Roethlisberger to former Ohio State receiver Santonio Holmes to win the game to clinch the Super Bowl there. But talk about great debates concerning quarterbacks. Kurt Warner. I'm not going to get us started on that. I don't know if you're ready for a Kurt Warner debate, but I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. I mean, former Giant. Why not?
Former Giant who played for like 8 games, and then Eli was brought in.
He's a Giant. But yeah, that game, this game coming up, like I said, I guess Cardinals.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. I think they're definitely the 2 best teams in the conference. I think they're I hate to bet against Brady. I do think the Patriots are going to get there, but I think those are the 2 best teams in the NFL playing in the NFC. Not that the Patriots wouldn't have a great shot. And I know I'm discounting the Broncos. Maybe I'm just kind of protecting myself for what I think is inevitable on Sunday. I tell you, if I had a gold truck, I'd go to Vegas. If I had a gold truck and I also didn't want the Broncos to win, I would go bet on the Patriots.
I don't know. I really don't know.
That's right. You don't make predictions.
I don't make predictions because they're normally wrong. I don't know. I'm hoping the snow doesn't knock out my power so that I can watch football. That's my bigger concern. So if I do get to watch football, then I'm just rooting for good games. When it comes to playoff football and there's no teams left that I really truly cared or connected to, I hope for a good game. Like last weekend, it was a good game. And that's what I watched for. So that's what I'm hoping for again. And if not, then I hope my power's out.
Wait a minute. You wouldn't opt for just clicking the remote and turning the game off versus having your power get knocked out?
No, because I can't sit there and watch TV if I know like football's on. Like I can't sit there and like keep up with the Kardashians if I know football's going on.
Is that usually a choice of yours?
Might be a guilty pleasure.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. I watched it early on, but it's not sucked me in for a long time.
Yeah.
But for a while there, yeah.
So I do have to ask you, I think it was on your Twitter or LinkedIn, about your college football player of the year. Did you make a nomination and pick? I just want to know how this all worked out, why I didn't get to vote, why. I'm just wondering. I mean, I'm looking at the winners, seeing who you picked, and I'm a little suspicious. I'm not going to lie.
You're suspicious. Okay, you might have seen a wrong or just one of many entries. So I think you're jumping to a lot of conclusions.
Okay,
here.
Fill me in, because just from what I saw
I'm going to fill you in
on the internet, I'm seeing you picking Ohio State guys. So I need to know who, where, what, why, when, and how.
Okay, before I explain, I think I'm going to make an exclamation point right out of the gate by asking you, do you know who I selected as Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year?
Carl Nassib.
Yes, I did.
That was a guess because I haven't looked, but I just assumed that's who it was because everyone else picked him too.
No, that's not why. That's not how I operate.
No, I'm just saying that was why.
Decisions. So last year, I came up with the idea, and for anybody watching this that doesn't normally catch my video podcast, I've got a YouTube channel, Mark Rogers TV. We talk college football almost exclusively all the time. So it hit me last year at the end of the season. There are all these awards flying all over the place. Somebody's this conference player of the year and that and this and that. And so I thought, hey, it's almost like the Seinfeld episode where George Costanza decides, and we're going to welcome somebody to blab like this.
Welcome to all of our new viewers. I don't know what to call you guys. Blabber? I don't know. Join us, though. We're talking about sports. So welcome. Join us. Who doesn't want to talk about sports?
Yeah, and Macy, this is not going to be surprising. Thank you so much. Somebody's giving me some likes. I was going to say it was 9-0, and I've caught up. No. Uh-oh. Yeah, this is not going to be a fair competition here. So I'm not even going to mention that. Okay, it's like 50-20. All right.
Okay, so back to college football.
Back to explaining what I do. Mark Rogers TV.
Mark, you just
college football. I'm sorry, I'm going to plug. If you love college football, Mark Rogers TV, bloggers all over the place from all over the country. Yes, we do it upright. So here's the deal. I decided at the end of last college football season, hey, I know my stuff. Why can't I name? And in my analogy to George Costanza, for any Seinfeld people out there, is that George Costanza, and I forget how the episode started, but basically he decided that there was a spare office that somebody left and it was empty. And he basically made his nameplate and he put it on the door, and he kind of like made that his office. And he didn't even work there. And he made this his office. And he just started walking in every day, and he did nothing but sit at his desk. And after weeks and months, people just started they just thought that he was some head honcho at this company because he put his name on the door and he just kind of made his way there. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to make a Mark Rogers TV Conference Player of the Year, offensive and defensive players for each conference. And we're going to do this. And what I got out of it last year was I got a few interviews from some college football players because I sent it to their Twitter handle and they said, hey, this is cool. And they retweeted it like they got some big award. And I picked up a couple interviews that way. So I did the same thing this year. And the only Ohio State recipient was the Offensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten, Ezekiel Elliott. And that was the same number as I awarded Penn State players despite their 7-6 season.
Okay. It just seems
so that's what that is.
That was,
so you wanted to vote in this?
I don't know who got to vote or who got what, but the only one that popped up was
one vote.
The Ohio State. So as a friend of yours, I had to ask how that got there and why that was the only one I saw and why you chose that one. But now I get it. So I didn't know if there was other voting and you left me out.
No voting. It's just me. It's a dictatorship.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Maybe we'll get to that point. If you find yourself where you really feel that you're qualified, Macy, to vote on the Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Year, then we can include you.
Okay.
But it might be a little difficult at that point when all the votes are 1-to-1. That might be a little bit difficult.
Yeah, we might have to go to the lab and get that, tying vote.
But we've got some time to work that out before next college football season.
Yes, we do.
All right. So you don't make predictions. I'm not going to make predictions because I don't want them to be different than what I want to see happen on Sunday. But I will make my predictions. I throw them out on Twitter and Facebook, and I keep record, and I'm kind of a geek like that because I like to make predictions and keep track. And I was 4-0 against the spread last weekend. So if you've got any money on the line, you might want to follow me on Twitter. That's all I'm saying.
Follow him, not me.
63-60.
Woo!
I got a chance. All right. So we're going to tell everybody out there, whether you're watching it right now, which I don't know is how many people right now, not a whole lot. But if you watch the record, we're at YouTube, Mark and Macy. We're going to tweet out the YouTube channel a lot. So you can follow Macy and you can see right there where you can follow her on Twitter. You can follow me as well if you choose to do so. I know you'll probably follow Macy. You can consider following me too. And we'll be here hopefully every Thursday night. We may have to shoot at different times depending on the week, but usually every Thursday night right around 6:30. And I think we like this blab thing. So we're going to be back, I think, next week.
Absolutely. I think it sounds fabulous.
Macy said absolutely. So we will be back next
We will
Thursday.
be back.
Yeah. So that's probably why I do the whole Mark Rogers TV Conference Player of the Year with only my vote, because when it comes to what we're talking about and when we're going to be on and what we're going to be on, Macy, she's got the only vote there. All right, Macy, I think we've done enough damage. What do you think?
I think so too.
Good stuff. All right, very good.